As Tony Dick has rather eloquently put it, if Israeli intelligence is so good and worth having, why did they fail to predict October the 7th? The threat of Netanyahu should not stop Starmer from recognising Palestine, with the careful caveat that Hamas and other terrorist units must leave and cannot hold government responsibility unless or until they renounce violence. This is the fulcrum of the debate. The credibility of Israeli intelligence, the moral and strategic calculation of recognising Palestine, and the manipulation of fear to forestall diplomacy. Last night's targeted strike that killed 5 Al Jazeera, or the night before strike that killed 5 Al Jazeera journalists near Gaza's Al Shifa hospital, is a grim illustration of the information war running alongside the ground war. One of those killed, Anas al-Sharif, was among the most prominent voices still reporting from inside Gaza. Israel claims that he was a Hamas cell leader, but has provided only thin, uncorroborated evidence. And even the BBC, which verified he once worked with a Hamas media team years ago, has found no proof of current militant activity. Human rights groups, UN officials, and the Foreign Press Association accuse Israel of systematically discrediting and targeting Palestinian journalists to reduce international visibility of the conflict's human cost. And the killing of journalists isn't simply a tragic byproduct of war. It can be a deliberate tactic to control the narrative, which matters when governments like Netanyahu's and Putin's seek to discredit all accounts except their own. Netanyahu now faces criticism from both extremes, from far-right groups accusing him of not being ruthless enough, the centre and international allies accusing him of recklessness. His plan to take control of Gaza City risks worsening humanitarian catastrophe, imperiling hostages, and deepening Israel's international isolation. His public demands of any Israeli role in Gaza starvation are undermined by UN data, eyewitness accounts, and his own admission that aid blockades lasted 78 days earlier this year. His repeated refrain that the Palestinians' aim is not statehood but the destruction of Israel ignores decades of diplomatic initiatives that have offered frameworks for two states, including ones rejected by Israel itself when the terms didn't suit its security or settlement objectives. October the 7th was the worst Israeli intelligence failure in half a century, and that alone should invite scrutiny before uncritically treating Israeli intelligence as an infallible asset in UK policy decisions. The recognition of Palestine, with the explicit conditions of not allowing Hamas into the narrative, is not rewarding terror. It's recognising a people's right to self-determination while setting binding obligations for governance. The caveat is essential. No Hamas or other violent groups in government until they renounce violence and accept the coexistence of two states. And recognition can strengthen moderate Palestinian institutions, reduce Hamas's claim to represent the Palestinian cause, and open space for new political leadership. It signals to Israel that its security concerns will be met by law, not permanent military occupation. And diplomatically, the UK's recognition would align with a growing bloc of Western and global southern states, asserting that a political solution must be part of any post-war settlement. Netanyahu has indicated downgrading intelligence cooperation if Britain recognises Palestine, a form of political blackmail, and so what? If Israeli intelligence is so good, then why did it fail when it mattered most? Intelligence sharing is valuable, but it's not a blank cheque to abandon moral and strategic principles. The UK already has other intelligence partners in the region, and Israeli cooperation will ultimately continue because it serves Israel's own security interests. Recognition under conditions is not a gift to Hamas, it's a challenge to Hamas. And failing to act because of Netanyahu's pressure rewards the political culture in Israel that sees perpetual war as the only path to security. If Britain is serious about supporting both Israeli and Palestinian civilians, it cannot make recognition hostage to a prime minister whose domestic political survival depends on keeping the conflict unresolved. Once this conflict is over, Netanyahu will be either in The Hague or in a court in Jerusalem. There is no alternative. His future, his personal future, is grim. And Starmer should proceed with eyes open, conditions clear, and the understanding that recognition is not the end of diplomacy, but the start of a more honest diplomacy.